You serious?
Well, hello there, you scrub lords, and welcome to a quick devblog chats. This is not really going to be the official history kind of a thing that I normally do, mainly because, one, I don't really have the information for it, and two, because I wanted to try out a slightly different format here. The Type 90 has been released, as we can see on screen, and I wanted to sort of quickly go over my thoughts on it and not read through the devblog, really, because you guys are all smart, you guys can read, you guys can go and read it yourself, you don't need me to. So, Type 90 is going to be the top-tier Japanese main battle tank coming next patch. The Japanese have been kind of given the short end of the stick ever since Tier 6 was introduced. They've gone quite a few patches now without any top-ranked vehicles, so it's good to see that in 1.79 the Japanese are going to be getting something worth their while. Now, for those of you guys who are not familiar with the Type 90 main battle tank, the Type 90 main battle tank is Japan's modern end of Cold War MBT, meant to replace the Type 74. And despite its looks, it is not actually related in any real way to the Leopard 2. It looks astonishingly like a Leopard 2. In fact, I'll pull one up here in a second for comparison. But the Type 10 has a number of features on it that make it substantially different, not to mention the fact that it was designed in a completely different manner. So, the Type 90 was Japan's attempt to modernize their tank forces and bring them into the modern era. They had a couple of vehicles regarding this prototype stage leading up to the Type 90 called the STC MBT program. And the STCs initially started off with a Japanese-produced 100, I've heard anywhere between a 120 to a 135mm gun that was actually a little bit more powerful from what I've been able to find, from the information I've been able to find, than the Rheinmetall 120. The problem was that the Rheinmetall 120 was a substantially cheaper gun and did pretty much everything that the Japanese gun did with a slightly less effect. So, yes, the Japanese gun may have been slightly better, but the Rheinmetall 120 was substantially cheaper, and they could buy the gun wholesale and all the tooling from Rheinmetall in Germany, and that's what they did. So, it's a Rheinmetall 120mm smoothbore gun, although, as you guys saw in the intro, Gaijin may or may not have screwed it up and given it rifling, which it never had. So, congratulations, Gaijiggles. Congratulations. So going down here and looking through here, the Type 10, not the Type 10, that comes later, way later, the Type 90. The Type 90 main battle tanks, first of all, it's substantially smaller. In fact, let me pull up a picture here. So you can see here, this is a comparison between a lot of the modern main battle tanks. So here is the Leopard 2 on the far left. This is the M1 Abrams. This is the AMX 56 Leclerc. And the Type 90. So you can see that the Type 90 is a substantially smaller vehicle than the Leopard 2, which is going to make it a much, much smaller target to hit. Now, how did they make the vehicle so small? Well, the Type 90 MBT features an autoloader. It does not feature a human loader like the M1 Abrams and the Leopard 2 does. The French Leclerc also has an autoloader, but it doesn't use the Rheinmetall 120. It uses the French L52 120mm gun, which is also a smoothbore, but it does fire standard NATO ammunition. Anyways, the Type 90 has 3 men: driver, gunner, and commander, and that's it. It is also, like I said, as you can see, it is a substantially smaller tank, and in addition to that, it has hydropneumatic suspension that has been improved upon from the Type 74 and the STB-1, which allows it to adjust its angle according to the terrain that it's fighting on, which is really, really quite useful, including being able to increase your gun depression by lowering the front of the tank. So this vehicle is going to be quite powerful. As for the armoring, I have heard wildly differing figures, and I honestly don't know what to believe. So I'm just going to wait and give final conclusions on that once we actually see it in-game, because, well, let's be frank, whenever a new vehicle like this comes out, everybody scrambles to say that it's the best. We said that about Challenger 1, and look what happened. So, I'm withholding my conclusions for that until I actually get my hands on the vehicle. The Type 90 is also quite substantially fast, since it is such a small tank, and it is also much, much lighter than a lot of the others, other contemporaries. It is a very compact, very powerful tank. And so this thing is going to be able to zip around the battlefield and have a devastating amount of firepower, because the autoloader on it should be just as fast, if not faster, than the human loaders that we have on the M1 Abrams and the Leopard 2K right now. I think on the Leopard 2, that rate of fire will substantially go up as well. But this thing, I've heard, with the gun is sitting in an optimal position, it has about a 3-second reload. We're probably looking at more like a 4-second reload, but even then, a 4-second reload on a gun like this is ridiculous. As for ammunition types, it's going to obviously get AP FSDS and Heat FS. However, what the performance values are of those rounds, I have zero idea. I have heard that JM33, which I guess the numbering system for ammunition types is very similar in Japanese terms to German terms. So the Germans have DM33 and the Japanese have JM33. I've heard the JM33 is roughly equivalent to DM33, if not slightly better. But again, we will have to wait and see the stats of DM33 and compare it to JM33 whenever we get those two ammunition types. So the Type 10, I keep saying Type 10. The Type 10 MBT is the follow-on vehicle for the Type 90. It was sort of Japan's most modern take on the MBT, and if we ever get the Type 10, that'll be even more ridiculous, because that thing is stupidly fast. Anyways. So yes, the Type 90 MBT going to be coming in the next patch, and so there isn't much else for me to say here. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of information on the Type 90 MBT. I am not an expert on Japanese armor. However, I am eagerly looking forward to seeing this thing. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are down in the description below. Did you guys like this format, or did you want me to go back to the format that I had beforehand? Anyways, I will see you guys on stream here, as I'm going to start in the next few minutes, so have a good one, everybody.